I'm not really sure what my favorite genre of video game would be. If you've only seen videos on this channel, you might think FPS games, although I have mentioned in a few revisions of my bio or video descriptions that I love hack and slash games. And while both of these are true, some of my favorite games don't really fit those descriptions. I mean, Arkham City is more beat 'em up than hack and slash, and Life is Strange. What genre is Life is Strange? However, while I can't pinpoint a genre to call my favorite, there is a type of game that I absolutely adore, and that would be weird 7th generation games. I don't know why, but I have this obsession with games on the 360 and PS3 that received less than stellar reviews. I think it's because there's less information about them or that they're talked less amongst the gaming community. Also because I have a lot of nostalgia for the Xbox 360. Because it's such a weird topic and I don't really have anyone to talk to about it, I'm subjecting my audience here on YouTube to listen to me talk about some of my favorite games in this weird niche. Either ones I've personally played, or ones that I've learned about. Before we start, if you like video essay style videos like this one, feel free to subscribe. I talk about video games on this channel, whether it's looking back on them or reviewing them, so if that interests you, subscribe. Also, if you're interested in variety gaming content, check out my second channel. I upload funny moments from games, as well as reactions to gaming content, so if you like that kind of content, feel free to subscribe there, link's in the description. The first game that I want to bring up is a game I've already covered on the channel, which would be Dante's Inferno. If you want to watch that video, there should be a card at the top of the screen linking to it, as well as a link in the description. Long story short, it's a game based off the poem of the same name, but you play as an exaggerated, beefed up Dante wielding Death's Scythe, who embarks on a quest to save his wife Beatrice from the devil himself. I think that's an exact quote from the original video. It takes a lot of inspiration from God of War and some influence from Infamous, and although it had a lot of controversy surrounding its marketing, it's a really good game. It's also made by the Dead Space team if that interests you. The gameplay, the art design, the music, everything about this game is amazing. If you haven't played this one, definitely check it out, although it is console exclusive. I've been thinking on making another more in-depth video about this game, so be sure to see that on the horizon possibly. Another one I really love, although I haven't completed it like I have with Dante's Inferno, is Brutal Legend. Brutal Legend is a game where you play as this guy who's really into metal music named Eddie Riggs, who is voiced by none other than Jack Black. Eddie gets transported into this ethereal, metal-themed world where he is tasked with leading armies to save the land from evil. It's a mix of hack and slash and, weirdly enough, RTS, but honestly it's pretty decent. It's a little like Overlord if you've touched that game. I just kind of forgot about it and dropped it, but maybe I'll pick it up again sometime. I'm not a huge fan of metal music and I'm certainly not a part of the culture, but it features a lot of cliches from the aesthetic that are easy enough to understand. The art style is really cool too, and the game is legitimately funny.
Who? Oh, me. Oh, I'm nobody. I'm just a guardian of metal.
One that's from a big studio but from my knowledge went largely unnoticed was Cameo Elements of Power. Released by Rare, it's a beat-em-up, puzzle, action, platformer mishmash where you can transform into all these different creatures that have their own different traits that'll help you on your journey. I'm a huge fan of the art style and the colors of this game, and even in today's age, I find it quite pleasing to look at. Supposedly this game was developed across like 5 consoles until it ended up on the 360 as a launch title, which is really interesting in my books. 2 that I've learned about but I haven't played yet are Ninja Blade and 2 Human. The first one, Ninja Blade, is a really weird action platformer made by none other than FromSoft. You know, like the Elden Ring guys. It's supposedly really buggy and really repetitive, and if you want to know more, I'd check out Iron Pineapple's video about it. They do a great job discussing it. 2 Human, on the other hand, is this game I do intend to check out sometime. It's this weird sci-fi game that mashes up future technology with like Norse mythology or Greek mythology, one of those two. Supposedly it's like Mass Effect but with Devil May Cry combat or something like that. What makes this game so interesting to me is that it ended up in a lawsuit over stolen code in the game's files, which led to the developers, Silicon Knights, to go bankrupt. I think I might do a So What Was video about this one, similar to my Dante's Inferno video. Facebreaker was this really obscure boxing game that my dad and I would play. I don't remember much of it, but I do remember grinding out all the unlockable characters, and I thought the final one was going to be this like super badass character, and it ended up being like a little chimpanzee or something, and I remember being super disappointed. I think that's all I can think of for now, but I might make a follow-up video on this topic because it's like my favorite thing to talk about ever. Even with the games I haven't played, I feel a weird nostalgia for these games. While a lot of people gush over Halo 3 or Skyrim or Gears of War or all the other iconic 7th generation games, you hear about them all the time. Learning about these almost underground games that go unrecognized because of their poor reviews or marketing is really interesting to me, and I'd rather hear about how bad something like Ascend Hand of Kull is than how good Skyrim is for the millionth time.